investigating for you. This is News 4 Tucson, live at 10.
The toll that Hurricane Harvey is taking on Texas is really overwhelming. The storm has already dumped 11 trillion gallons of rain over the state.
By the time Harvey dissipates, meteorologists estimate Texas will have 25 trillion gallons of rain. At least 30 lives have been lost as a result of the storm. It came ashore for a third time this morning as a tropical storm. More than 32,000 people are in shelters and more keep streaming in. 18,000 rescued and hundreds still waiting. Some of the water is starting to recede, but the governor of Texas is warning that the worst isn't over.
It's been 5 days since Hurricane Harvey slammed onto the Texas coast, and many residents are still dealing with the destruction left behind.
News 4 Tucson Sean Mooney is in Texas and has more on how one community is helping their neighbors cope with this devastation.
Damage to homes here in Ingleside varies from neighborhood to neighborhood, but everyone in this area has felt the impact from Hurricane Harvey. But despite what many are dealing with, they have come out here to help their neighbors.
Tell them just to pull right through here next to the trucks. Okay, thank you. Pull all the way up, please. Stop. Stop.
You have people out here that might not have a fence at home or might have a tree down on their roof, and they're still out here, you know, making sure that everybody's got food and water and everything that they need.
Since Monday, the people of Ingleside have been receiving much-needed supplies at this distribution center. So far, 2 tractor trailers of water, another full of ice, have been emptied. Hundreds of pounds of other essentials have been passed out. And still, the line of cars never stops, from 9 a.m. until 6 p.m. when it shuts down for the night.
Please pull up.
The National Guard is here, along with the army of volunteers from all over the area.
I have a huge amount of local people in here. I also have people from Corpus Christi. I've got people from New Braunfels. I've got people from Mission. I've got people coming from all over, and it has just been a blessing.
Well, we appreciate the help. It's well needed. It's well needed. I thank every one of them.
You want to hand me one?
The National Guard refers to the center as a pod, or point of distribution. They also have another way of referring to an amazing group of volunteer troops.
Well, at this particular pod, we've got a really good civilian workforce. There's a lot of volunteers that have really kicked in a lot of supplies.
Thank you.
A devastating act of nature brought all these people together, neighbors of the National Guard working side by side with one mission: to help. Reporting from the Texas coast, Sean Mooney, News 4 Tucson.
We really have seen so many shocking images coming from Hurricane Harvey, including this one. It actually looks like an ocean with waves lapping in whitecaps, but it's really Interstate 10 near Winnie, Texas, nearly 20 miles inland. Logan Wheat was in a small boat searching for cattle to move to higher ground. He said the waves were 3 to 4 feet high and nearly knocked his boat over. Wheat found some of the cattle about 2 miles away in chest-deep water, but he was not able to find all of the cattle. And take a look at this time-lapse video showing just how quickly floodwaters can rise. This garage in Houston started flooding around 2 in the morning on Sunday, and then 10 hours later, totally underwater. By Monday morning, the water finally started to recede.
14 people have been arrested for looting in the aftermath of Hurricane Harvey. In Houston, this liquor store fell victim to criminals who broke in and stole bottles of alcohol. State law indicates that those who commit crime like robbery, burglary, and theft during a time of crisis can face harsher penalties.
Tom Price, the Health and Human Services Secretary, has declared a public health emergency in both Texas and Louisiana. Many shelters are setting up makeshift hospitals to address the growing health needs of those impacted by the storm. A team of healthcare personnel has set up a pharmacy at the convention center in Houston, where they're now getting necessary medications to evacuees. But additional health concerns may arise. Some people could experience severe anxiety and depression.
It suddenly comes crashing to you that you've lost almost everything, and for some people, obviously, everything. That is really, really difficult to deal with.
One thing flood victims probably don't need is a tetanus shot. Doctors say simply wading through floodwaters does not increase a person's risk for the bacterial infection.
Tucsonans are stepping up to help with Hurricane Harvey disaster relief.
The community is donating money and personal items to those in need, and we've been covering the hometown effort this week. Tonight, News 4 Tucson's Alex Dote has a closer look.
Angelique, John, good evening. Heavy rain is expected in parts of Texas and Louisiana through Labor Day weekend, making donations like these vital. Donations are pouring in at World Care.
2 generators, a life raft boat, and some actually MRE equipment.
Help heading where Harvey hit hardest.
We're sending about 1,200 pounds of supply.
World Care's executive director says it wouldn't be possible without community.
All of the supplies have been generated from the local Tucson community. The outpouring of support in the last 2 days has been incredible.
Tucson is also donating to the Red Cross. The organization reports 17,000 people stayed in shelters Tuesday night. Images with impact.
Well, we saw it last night on the news, and the kids and I were watching, and they wanted to help out, so I asked them how much they wanted to give, and they each picked an amount. We took it out of their piggy banks.
Thank you very much. We have a lot of relatives down in Baton Rouge, and they get hit a lot. In fact, they're probably getting a lot of rain right now, but this is just from our heart.
What Harvey ripped apart, communities like ours are helping piece back together. If you'd like to donate, there's a full list of what people need and where you can drop your donations off on KVOA.com. Alex Dote, News 4 Tucson.
And Harvey has left many asylum seekers stranded right here in Tucson. The migrants, mostly from Central America, use Greyhound buses to get to their final destinations after being processed by immigration officials at the border. But many buses have been canceled, leaving them stuck at temporary shelters. Those shelters, now at maximum capacity, need help to deal with the demand.
Food has been something that, we have been in need of, as well as toiletries, deodorant, toothbrushes, toothpaste. Those are a big immediate need as well.
Donations can be dropped off at the Ward 6 office on Speedway and Country Club. Matt.
All right, John, let's take a look at what Harvey is doing at 10:06 on a Wednesday evening. You can tell it hasn't moved much over the course of the really last 5 days or so. Thankfully, Houston really out of the focal point for seeing the heavy rain, but places like Beaumont, Port Arthur, and Lake Charles, Louisiana, seeing still some very good rain on this Wednesday evening. Here's the latest track. Top winds 35 miles per hour. The thing is, it's now a tropical depression, Harvey, and Harvey is going to quickly move off to the northeast. So that's good news, but it's going to take a long time to get those recovery efforts underway. So we'll be following that and have your full forecast back here in just a few minutes.
All right, Matt, thank you. A man is facing criminal charges now after illegally possessing a bobcat. Last week, the Arizona Game and Fish Department confiscated the animal from a Foothills home.
News 4 Tucson's Sam Salzwedel has the story that you will see only on 4.
The homeowner is cooperating with law enforcement. Wildlife managers believe he had good intentions when he tried to rescue an injured animal. This bobcat was being held on a property near Sabino Canyon in Snyder. Mark Hart with the Arizona Game and Fish Department says the homeowner took care of the animal after its mother likely got in a fight with a coyote.
He became emotionally attached to it, apparently, and decided to keep it, which is against the law.
Now he's being charged with possession of restricted live wildlife.
We don't really know what the outcome would have been had it gotten veterinary attention promptly, but possibly it could have been released.
The Tucson Wildlife Center was not involved in this case. Lisa Bates founded the licensed rehabilitation facility where they take care of bobcats like this one, the right way.
We have 160 volunteers, and we train them to stay away from the wildlife and not get that human attachment. It is difficult because people do want to pet little furry animals.
The foster mom, named Bisbee, is part of the process. The male kitten's being cared for until he is ready to be released back into the wild.
We don't name the babies because they have very limited human contact, and we don't want people treating them like pets.
Because the homeowner did not call Game and Fish or a wildlife rehab, this animal is expected to spend the rest of its life in a zoo. The man's facing a maximum penalty of a $750 fine and 6 months in jail. Sam Salzwedel, News 4 Tucson.
Arizona Senator John McCain is returning to Capitol Hill next week. That's when Congress begins a new legislative session. Senator McCain has been undergoing chemotherapy treatments for brain cancer. His office issued a statement saying the senator is looking forward to continuing his work for the people of Arizona and the nation.
All right, straight ahead, right here on News 4 Tucson at 10. Never say never. Meet a man on a mission to reach the goal he set more than 70 years ago.
And the war of the words between President Trump and Kim Jong-un heats up once again. Matt.
All right, 10:09. We're looking live at our News 4 Tucson Skynet camera at 12th and Valencia on the south side of town. Still very quiet weather pattern with the exception of a couple breezes. So what about the next several days? Well, that and your full forecast coming up after the break.
Investigating for you. This is News 4 Tucson. John Overall, Angelique Lizardi, Paul Sakala, and Matt Brode. This is News 4 Tucson, live at 10.
A man has been charged for shooting an undocumented immigrant who was on his property. It happened back on July 31st in Arivaca. According to detectives, the victim had a confrontation with the homeowner, 71-year-old Michael Goodwin. As the victim was running away, authorities say Goodwin opened fire, hitting the victim in the back. The Pima County Attorney's Office charged Goodwin with 2 counts of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon on August 14th.
A local real estate investor who was charged with 17 federal counts, including money laundering and wire fraud, has been found not guilty on all charges. Peter Cash Doy was facing up to 340 years in prison. News 4 Tucson investigators spoke with Doy by phone to find out what he plans to do now.
I am in the process of trying to figure that out. Just due to the intensity of the indictment, I haven't really been able to see past the trial and winning. And now that that's occurred, I'm really just trying to reconnect with old friends and old contacts and, let them know that what's happened and see what the opportunities are out there in the world.
Cortland Gettle, CEO of Variant Holding Company, and his attorney, Jeffrey Greenberg, the subject of a News 4 Tucson investigator story, both pleaded guilty in 2016 to committing federal crimes in the same case as Doy.
When the U of A began its fall session last week, many freshmen experienced college for the very first time. But for one student, it was his second round of college, with a 74-year gap in between. Jim Chaffins is a 91-year-old freshman at the U of A. He enrolled at Virginia Tech back in 1943, but encountered a slight roadblock. World War II. He served in the Navy and came home to start a career and a family. Now he wants his degree. He called Virginia Tech to ask for his transcripts. They said no problem. He told the college it was from the spring semester of 1943. Amazingly, the transcripts were found and Arizona accepted them. Chaffins is a history major with 9 credit hours to his name after 74 years. Way to go.
Fascinating. See, it's never too late, right?
Never too late. What a remarkable story.
Yeah.
I think the coolest part of that story, well, obviously he's going back, but that they had his transcripts from 1943. I thought they purged that stuff when computers became, but
it was meant to be.
It sure was.
Yeah.
All right, it was meant to be a beautiful day here once again across southeastern Arizona. A little bit on the toasty side once again, but that's because our moisture is down a little bit. Looks like that computer went down as well as the moisture. All right, let's reboot this really quickly for you. We'll get this. Anyway, it was a pretty warm day once again of weather across the region, and we saw those daytime highs, well, pretty warm again. In fact, they were back into triple digits by a few degrees or so, and looks like that trend's going to stick around for a while. All right, let's go to the time lapse from our Simply Bits camera. You can see that setting from the west. Very few high clouds today as that horizon turns beautiful golden right there at 7:10 this evening. There's your high temperatures, 102, so that's 4 degrees above average for this time of year. We had 108 up in Phoenix, 113, no thank you, out in Yuma, 92 Sierra Vista and Douglas as well. At the airport, it's 89 degrees. Skies are clear. Dew points at 38. I'm telling you, that's down substantially. We're not going to get storms with dew points in the upper 30s. And look at these warm temperatures. Still some east winds blowing, and that's why you're 91 at 10 o'clock at night in Oro Valley, 83 on the east side, 85 Sabino Canyon. Once again, we check into comfy, cool conditions down in Sonoyta at 62 degrees. Trend for Tucson, though, tonight, we're going to stay in the 80s through about 2 a.m. and then only get into the low 70s for nighttime lows. Clean sweeps on live Doppler radar this evening. High pressure, again, just not in the most favorable position for us, getting our winds out of the northeast. We'd like them to get them out of the east-southeast, and that's just not something we're going to see. Here's Lydia. Top winds 40 miles per hour. This could give us moisture, but look at what happens. It curves right out to sea. Now, this is not gospel. This could change a little bit, so we'll have to watch this pretty closely here over the course of the next couple days. But overall, I think we're not going to see an uptick in moisture with that. KVOA.com/contest. Time's running out. You have till September 4th to guess how much rain we get between the period July 7th and September 4th. If you're the closest, you guess the soonest, you are our monsoon master. 102 to 103, our high temp tomorrow in Tucson. Call it a hot day. 103 Friday. Hard to believe Saturday will be kicking off at U of A Stadium. 102, 100 on Sunday. And then, hey, September, Labor Day. It's here, the weekend. Upper 90s, a 10% chance of storms. The weather pattern looking a lot like a transitional pattern where we kind of go from August to September. Not bad, though.
Yeah. Felt a little cooler than lately.
You thought, well, I was outside all day. It felt
Yeah.
pretty hot to me. But,
I meant about 6:35.
Well, we're done with like those 110, 115 things that we had.
That's a good thing.
That's true.
All right. Thank you, Matt. Well, President Trump and Kim Jong-un have both issued new threats following the latest North Korean missile launch. Richard Engels in South Korea with more on the war of words and the risks it creates.
North Korea's latest missile launch over Japan now has Kim Jong-un and President Trump trading threats. North Korea over state media. Today saying more missile launches are coming and could, as threatened before, be pointed at the U.S. territory of Guam. And President Trump over social media, tweeting the U.S. has been talking to North Korea and paying them extortion money for 25 years. Talking is not the answer. President Trump is apparently referring to Clinton-era negotiations that failed to curb North Korea's nuclear ambitions, talks that often ended with aid payments. But just hours after the president's tweet, Defense Secretary Mattis chimed in, seeming to contradict the president.
We're never out of diplomatic solutions.
It leaves U.S. policy confused by a 140-character burst, and that could be dangerous when it comes to North Korea. Today, U.S. troops in South Korea were preparing for the worst, testing Patriot anti-missile systems, part of annual war games. Lieutenant Colonel Mark Peleni says the missiles are essential because the 28,500 U.S. troops in South Korea and their families are in North Korea's crosshairs.
My family feels very secure because they drive by and they see a Patriot battery sitting here, knowing that it's defending them and that we're on the wall watching 24/7.
But the danger now reaches the U.S. as well. Today, the U.S. military released images of missile defense tests near Hawaii. The question many in this region are now asking is what the U.S. and its allies may do in response to the North Korean missile test. In the past, they've reacted with some kind of show of force. Richard Engel, NBC News, Ansong, South Korea.
Coming up, big medical news today that will change the treatment of childhood leukemia. Coming up next.
Some big cancer news today. The FDA has approved a new treatment of childhood leukemia. The CAR-T therapy includes extracting special immune cells from the patient and reprogramming them. Those cells are then infused back into the patient's body. Their job will be to find and destroy the cancer. The therapy is approved for use in pediatric and young cancer patients with ALL. This is one of the most common forms of leukemia.
And a new warning from the Centers for Disease Control today. Health experts are investigating a salmonella outbreak linked to pet turtles. Since March 37, cases of turtle-related salmonella have been reported. 16 people were taken to the hospital to receive treatment. Turtles of any size can carry salmonella, but the CDC says tiny turtles are most at risk. All right, Paul, what do you have in sports?
Hey, John, sports coming right at you. After the break, we'll have more on how the U of A Athletic Department is helping flood victims in Houston. We'll also check in with Rich Rod and the football team. Plus, we'll catch up with Coach Dave Rubio and the Arizona volleyball squad as they gear up for their home opener and a weekend full of volleyball at the U of A. We'll be right back. How's your energy, Southern Arizona? Good evening to you. I'm Paul Cicala. The LA Dodgers have been the best team in the majors all season, but don't tell that to the D-backs. A win tonight in downtown Phoenix would mean a 4-game losing streak for the boys in blue. Let's pick things up with the D-backs leading 6-0. Robbie Ray would take a shutout into the 7th inning. Can Yasiel Puig get the Dodgers bats going? No way. Jose, that's a K. His 10th strikeout on the day. Robbie Ray, what do you say? Hey, he'd later be pulled after allowing this home run by Curtis Granderson, but hey, no worries. The D-backs hold on for the 6-4 victory, and Ray gets the win. Congrats is in order to redshirt sophomore linebacker Carrington Vaughn and redshirt sophomore running back Brandon Leon. Both were surprised by Coach Rich Rodriguez after practice and told they'd be offered scholarships. That's right, Vaughn and Leon had been walk-ons, and now they won't be paying for their tuition, food, room, and board anymore out of their own pockets. As for preps for the opener against NAU, practice continues strong for the Wildcats. Kickoff is this Saturday at 8 p.m. And hey, freshman Killen Wilburn says he was pleased with the Wednesday morning workouts.
I feel like we're getting better and better. The intensity is rising more and more, and everybody's flying to the ball. So by game time, we'll be ready.
I think the guys really, you could feel a little bit that they're fighting through, tired of practice against each other. And I thought the defense's intensity was pretty good. I think the offense was uneven, but we got some good work in. You know, we got a light practice tomorrow and a walkthrough Friday, so really most of the hard work has been put in.
Moving on, Arizona's former quarterback Anu Solomon has been named the starting QB for Baylor in its season opener against Liberty. After an injury-filled junior season, Solomon transferred from the Wildcats to Baylor, took part in spring practice there, and won the starting position. Solomon ended his U of A career in the top 4 in total offense and TD passes.
You know, I love Anu. He's a great young man, a talented guy, and sounds like it's working out for him. So I'll be rooting for him for sure.
Hey, after beginning the season by winning 2 of 3 at the LUV Invitational in Nashville, the Arizona Wildcat volleyball team is pumped up to be back in Tucson. U of A will host Eastern Kentucky, Grand Canyon, and Radford at the Cactus Classic beginning at 12:30 on Friday. Coach Dave Rubio tells me he and the Cats are expecting a warm welcome at McHale.
How excited are you to be back at home, you and the entire team?
Well, it was a tough road trip. You know, the 2-hour time change going east is brutal. And we prepare for that by waking up and practicing at 6 in the morning and then coming back in the afternoon and practicing for another hour. Then going there and playing, 3 matches in 48 hours. So it's a tough road trip. So it's nice to get back at home, nice to try to get some rest and to be back in McHale. Everyone's pretty excited about being back here.
Can't wait Friday, getting it going. All right, the U of A football team plays Houston a week from Saturday, and we're now learning that the Houston's opening game against UTSA has been canceled, meaning they will kick off their season on September 9th against the Cats. The U of A athletic department is heading up a drive to help out the victims of Hurricane Harvey. This is the Houston Cougars getting ready to practice in Austin to avoid their floods in their home of Houston, of course. Starting Sunday, the U of A football equipment trucks will be parked on the east side of Arizona Stadium to collect donations of hygiene products, cleaning supplies, and diapers. Following the September 9th game against the Cougars, they will follow the team's equipment van to Houston to deliver the donated goods. We have more on KVOA.com. And that is Tucson Turf coach Toby Bourget as the group held up their national championship trophy. Fresh off of taking home the Pylon Elite 7-on-7 national title, the team comprised mostly of players from Marana High School were on cloud 9, and now some of those players are giving back to flood victims in Houston. Tucson Turf is leading the way by hosting a donation drive tomorrow, with the goal being multiple trailers filled with supplies for the flood victims along the Texas coast. We are talking clothes, baby food, diapers, toiletries, toothpaste, cash donations, and anything that can be used by people in need. If you'd like to help, there'll be a truck and trailer parked at Burger King on Cortero and I-10 from 7 a.m. till around 7 p.m. Trenton Bourget, the QB you saw leading the charge, will be there in the morning to help out, and of course other players as well. And Tucson Turf operates under the nonprofit Life Athletics, teaching young athletes life skills, getting involved with the community and helping out in Texas. We'll be right back for a last look at your weather.
The Jacksonville Zoo just received 2 manatees at its new Manatee Critical Care Center. The young sea cows, Cassie and Buckeye, traveled from SeaWorld Orlando this morning. They were orphaned in 2015, now have the chance to get bigger and stronger. In fact, they now weigh about 60 pounds each, but they will grow to 10 times that weight with the help of the Critical Care Center.
Oh, my.
Sea cows, gotta love them.
All right, pretty cool stuff.
All right, so hard to believe this is the last we're entering close to the weekend, the last unofficial weekend of summer. Of course, fall doesn't officially begin until the 3rd week of September, but for posterity's sake, we call it Monday, and of course, we have the Wildcats kicking off too on Saturday. Triple digits through Sunday, really not very good rain chances, slight chances Monday through Wednesday of next work week, but only 10%, so mostly dry.
All right, have a wonderful night. Jimmy Fallon is next.